Hey, big warm welcome here. Happy Monday to everybody this morning. Hope you guys had a great weekend out there. Boy, it's been cold and rainy here in Los Angeles County, California. I'll tell you that much. I know that means it's probably cold and rainy, maybe snowing where you are. Hope you guys had a great weekend. A lot of great stuff to do this weekend. Made it coming into the markets this morning a little more difficult. And as we know, always on a Monday morning, what's our main focus Monday mornings, guys? Our main focus Monday mornings is always the same. Dust off those cobwebs, get the rhythm back, get the mojo back, right? Get back in that trading zone, right? Mentally, technically, get the wind at our back, find that confidence. Now, we knew this morning, though, going into the beginning of the morning, we had some red flags, didn't we? First of all, the biggest red flag was no major news this morning. Second red flag, we know we've got the State of the Union address tomorrow. We know we followed that up with Fed Day. And then so we knew that this morning might be a little bit slow because of no major news. And then traders may have looked at that this morning and said, oh boy, we got the State of the Union tomorrow. And that may have caused them to, in theory, hit the sleep button again, hit the snooze button a couple more times. So we got tomorrow evening, the State of the Union address. We've got tomorrow, we get the beginning of Fed Day, and today no news. Whenever we have that happen, we always know, be very careful Monday morning getting into trouble really, too early this morning. We were able to put together some relatively decent cash. We didn't make a ton of money this morning, obviously, a lot like Friday. Friday was a day where we were prepared to profit, but we just simply never got a real good chance to do so. So we took our time. We really planned our battles wisely. You can see took a total of 6 trades this morning, but really only 3 of them went somewhere. Now, this is a good example this morning of how we simply followed our plan. And by following the plan, I mean using the dollar index. And let's take a look first what the dollar is telling us. The dollar was one of the third clues we saw this morning. The dollar gave us a clue of a downward moving market. But by the time we found the dollar today, the dollar had moved all the way to the lows of its bear channel. When the dollar hits the lows of a channel, we now know the dollar should rise. But we didn't see it rise very long, though, did we? It bounced a little bit, but didn't go very far. So when we saw the dollar go back to its lows again, right, literally you can see what happened here in this dollar. Right, the dollar came down, bounced off the lows, came up a little bit, and now it's been kind of chopping around, right, the low of this channel. Now, we know this from other market personalities. We know that when the dollar or any market is just simply chopping around these lows right here, folks, we know that's always going to be a challenging environment. Okay, ultimately what happens is, you kind of take out your illustration tool here, ultimately what happens is when you're at the highs of a channel, like the euro is right now, at the lows of the channel like the dollar is right now, we knew, for example, the dollar now is at the lows, the euro is at the highs, and this basically tells us that if this continues, we're in trouble, right? We have no higher risk, or no higher percentage trades here. So the dollar's going to keep chopping down. And again, this should be the first red flag we saw, is the fact that the dollar didn't bounce off those, just kind of stuck right here. Well, of course, at the same time now, what does it do to the euro and the Russell and the gold? It causes it to just sit here. So how do I trade a channel? I buy the lows, I sell the highs. How do I trade when the euro is retesting the highs of the channel? I have to wait for a sell opportunity. For the dollar, I need to wait for the dollar to rise off these lows. So it becomes a very difficult environment if the dollar sits here at these lows and keeps, kind of, as we always say, cranking through, just, chunk, just really not getting much else besides a 3 or 4 tick lower low, and then 10 ticks back up, stop everybody out, and then go right back down again. It feels like half the market this morning, right, hit the snooze button, didn't come into play. Might be because the news or lack thereof, news later this week, might be because it's a Monday. All right. As I've always said, this is that Monday that kind of feels like, this weekend was what, the 3rd weekend of the month, 4th weekend of the month. So it felt like people had come back from New Year's. They got kind of run over. At the end of last week, it was pretty slow. So we looked at it thinking, okay, this is probably going to be a slow, sloppy morning here. And let's just hold on tight and make sure we stay alive. And that's exactly what we did. Let's review the trades we took this morning. And then members will be ready to rock here for members only. As you guys know, we do members only after 11:30 here in our trade room. Now, my first trade began this morning at 9:55. Now, remember where we were first. This morning first, remember where we were.